Hello, everybody. Happy Friday for the second time today. I hope you're all having a wonderful week, had a wonderful week, and looking forward to a fantastic weekend as well. Here where I am. These dang holiday makers, man, they've started arriving in their droves, guys. I don't think you understand anxiety from that I have to go through in my town over December. Anyway, apparently the retailers need it and they love it. So what can I say? Got to support that. Welcome everybody to Sedgefield on the garden route where everybody's on holiday right now. So I hope you're all preparing for a beautiful, beautiful holiday. Whether you celebrate Christmas or not, it's a time where you can be together with your family. And remember, it's what you make of it. It doesn't matter what anyone else says or thinks. It's absolutely what you make of it and what you decide it to be. So I am super excited today, without any further ado, to bring on one of my really coolest buddies, friendiolas. Check it out, Dani Henderson. How are you, Danny?
Merry
Danny, Danny, Danny.
Christmas!
I
Oh, dear.
love it. You look.
Well, seeing as you just mentioned Christmas, I thought, do you know what? They're sitting right there, and oh, hello, I'm a nutcracker. How are we all today? I've been trying to do
I
that.
love it.
And look at these. Okay, I've had them now, I think, 2 years. Okay, still funny. Still funny. I just
That's
love it.
always funny.
Always funny. Always
Always funny.
like whoopee cushions.
Always
Also,
funny.
always
And I'd say I
funny.
love that. I'm like, I looked at that and I was like instantly jealous and decided I'm definitely going to the 5 Rand store tomorrow to see what I can get for Christmas on these eyeballs of mine.
Oh, funny, funny. I
you
know.
you can you cannot be having such cool sunnies all on your own. Oh my gosh, I said the word sunnies. My son,
Funny.
when I say that, he goes, "Ma, like 1982 called. Can you just please stop saying that word,
Oh my
sunnies?"
God, sunnies. That's very Australian. That's what they call their sunglasses, sunnies. We should check in with Rachel
Oh,
on that one.
we do it here too. I thought it's normal. Everyone calls their sunglasses sunnies, but they
Ah,
don't apparently. Listen, it's so awesome to see you because you have been in one of my favorite places where I spent 3.5 years of my life. Probably not
mm.
the same area, but the same country. How was Thailand?
Thailand was spectacular. And I know most people tend to go to vacation to, I don't know, Koh Samui or somewhere like that. Or I went to explore the ancient Hindu temples with the one and only Praveen Mohan. And if people don't know him, he is the Indian guy. He's an Indian monk. You can't really tell. Most of the time he's wearing T-shirts. But on the tour, he actually did wear like a cotton orange robe. He's spoken at my last 2 Galactic Spiritual Informer Connection conferences. He'll be speaking at the next one again in England, September 2026. So it was him and I and his wonderful team. And I tell you what, Indians, they are hilarious. And if I speak in their wonderful accent, they don't care. It's funny to them, and it was funny to me. Something that white people get so offended. Oh, don't have any fun making a bing, ding, ding, ling, ling, ling. Don't do that. It's racist. No, they find it funny. There's way too much seriousness going on, honestly. But the primary focus of the
I
tour.
so
Oh my God, we went from Bangkok, which I didn't like Bangkok. I'm not a city person. I'm country. Get me out in a field on my own, please. No people. But we
yeah,
went
I'm
from
with you.
Bangkok up to the pretty much the Cambodian border, and then on the way taking in these absolutely monolithic temples, and they call them prangs, and just ancient Hindu temples that have largely been taken over by the Buddhists. So they just basically, the Hindu temples, they have a kind of base portal, which is the yoni, the feminine, and then they'll have a Shiva or a Shiva lingam, a Shiva like a more of a phallic symbol that goes into the yoni. creating male, female, divine energy. And then when the Buddhists came as the new religion, they would often take over the ancient Hindu temples and then replace with a Buddha figure. And often they'll still use the original pedestal, which has the dip for the yoni in it. So it was so amazing. There was one particular, because Praveen Mohan, who's got millions and millions of followers all over YouTube. I mean, he's just amazing. What he's done, he's taken ancient pictographs, hieroglyphs, carvings in these ancient temples across the world and India, especially where he lives, and pulled them out and then used AI to create movement. And you can see so much more. And he has created an awareness of ancient hidden technology, the flying Vimyanas, UFO spacecraft, and just incredible. And it was so great going around exploring. We climbed. I mean, we weren't supposed to, because there was a little tiny sign that said no climbing, but none of us saw it, sir. No, we didn't. And no pyramids were harmed in the climbing up the steps that have been there for thousands of years. There were no Nelly the elephants climbing up there. There was no possible potential harm. And we get to the top of this pyramid. And a year ago, there were no coaches, there were no school kids, there were no signs. And they've made it famous, unfortunately, on Facebook by showing it and YouTube. And so when we got there were loads of kids and loads of bloody people about. But we kind of went round the back and then climbed up the stairs really quick. And at the top it was flat at the top. And then there was another area where they've used red brick, which is obviously much more modern, not the ancient laterite stones they use. And on this particular pyramid, I felt the urge to walk sunwise around the top. And when I got back to where I started, I got this whoosh of this, and it was like a column of golden energy that just went through me. Wasn't looking for it. It was a real beautiful, almost like a blessing. It was just so great. So thank you for asking. Yeah. I had a fabulous time with Praveen. He does these tours. They're amazing. Everybody should go on a tour with Praveen Mohan.
Which part of Thailand were you in?
We're all over, from Bangkok all the way up, wiggled all the way up, north, south, east, and west, to the Cambodian border. Oh God, the temple's funny.
I used to go there to the Cambodian border to renew my visa every couple of months. Yeah, crazy. But wow, what a country and what a heritage. And I would love to actually maybe do some stuff in the future with you on that, actually. Mm-hmm. The sites and stuff in Thailand. And it's so interesting what you're talking about the Hindus, the Hindu religion actually being older than Buddhism. It totally is. Totally it is. When I was in India and I studied yoga there, obviously there are the yogas under Hinduism. So you learn a lot about the Hindu teachings and the Sanskrit and all of that is originally from Hinduism. And a lot of their myths and legends, if you want to call it that, and how that's also, in fact, I still have books here. It's amazing because I was with, after my yoga teaching, one of the guys on my course with me was a guy called Prabhu. Now, Prabhu was, he was running one of Swami, who was doing our course, running one of his ashrams. And then Prabhu invited me after the course. I was going to go and party in Goa after my 6-week yoga course, right? And after that, you just can't go party anywhere. So I went to the ashram for the next 2 weeks, which was amazing because there they raised the orphans. They were adopting they had rescued the cows, the cattle from the slaughterhouse industry. Every morning we would go and feed the villagers. The one lady was like 102 years old. And we went out and on our little tuk-tuks and fed the villagers. What a beautiful, because I was right in with the community. I wasn't a tourist. I was right in with the community. And the most beautiful meal I had was being invited to a peasant known as the peasant who worked on the ashram. His wife, him and his wife invited myself and my friend Karen, and then Prabhu and Anita, his wife, for dinner at their home. It was the best meal I have ever had. But what an experience, because you go and sit in their lounge and it's small, and there's cats and dogs and kids and grannies and grandpas and men and women. And I'm like, you sit down and they serve you. So you will sit down and they would serve you, right? And then and you eat as much as what you want. And they serve you the different courses. And only once you as the guests have finished eating and left, do they then sit down and actually eat the food. But what an experience. And that was obviously India, which is not, I mean, there's so many similarities, but it's really, really, really beautiful. And I would love to chat.
Yeah, I mean, like you, I studied Hinduism many years ago. I went through every single religion. I wanted to understand, I wanted to feel the energy. I wanted to understand the essence of what each of the symbols meant and what each of the gods represented, because there are so many gods. And of course, people in a devoted religion believe that their God is that way, but there are a lot of gods. So with Hinduism, they've got like an equivalent to 5 holy Bibles, not just one. And if you go into a Hindu temple, like the one in Kauai, for example, where I used to live, the Hawaiian island, you walk in and on the left, you've got Ganesha, or Lord Ganesha, the elephant-headed deity. And then round to the right-hand side, you've got Lord Muruga. Now, Lord Muruga is the clairvoyant god, and he's up in the cosmos. And so they knew. They didn't have a stopgap on not talking about being clairvoyant. They understood and allowed the natural gifts that we have as humans to astrally travel. I mean, it's just so fascinating. And then in the middle, of course, they have their Shiva. And then when you go around the temples, you'll see like Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. I had an amazing experience. We went into one particular temple. I forget the name of it now. We went to so many. And and there was a Buddhist monk with us, as well as Praveen being a Hindu monk, and it was wonderful. And we're walking down this pathway, and then suddenly there's like an opening in front of me, behind me, and either side. And then the Buddhist monk said to me, "Dani, you are literally right in the center of this amazing sacred temple." And all of a sudden, I just closed my eyes, just taking the moment. And then I saw this beautiful being, like really, like in my mind's eye, like come up. And he had black hair, beautiful face, and he had a crown that the gold kind of went up like this. It was like a straight-sided crown. It was so interesting. And then he had this tail, like a scaly tail. And he kind of came up and beamed and went back. I said, "Oh my God, Praveen." I said, "I just saw this." And he was like, "That was Shiva." I'm like, "Oh my God." No, sorry, that was Vishnu. I'm like, wow. And then as we went round the temple exploring, there he was in the tail effigy. I'm like, wow. Now, when that kind of thing happens, wow. I love it. I didn't make it up. I had no preconceived idea. I'd never been to these temples in my life. But the essence, that frequency of the ethers, the aethers, whatever you want to call it, the energy of Shiva with Vishnu. Bloody hell, Dani, I'm so dyslexic. Vishnu with the tail. Presented
Vishnu, yeah.
No. So yeah, it was brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's so much to the Hindu, and the Brahman and the Bhagavad. Here we go. The holy books.
Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita.
Mahabharata, the Upanishads, the Vedas. Yes. I have read them all, and all I can remember, when you read a book and you think back on, if you can't remember all the information, it's how did that book make you feel? And I must admit, the Vedas and the Upanishads pissed me off. I got the arse because I found it far too dictatorship, far too much authority. That doesn't suit my soul at all. To have any kind of dominance, you have to do this. This is the only way. It doesn't fit. I'm too much of a free spirit for that. But it was amazing. So yeah, we got lots we could talk about there for definite.
It's true, and I'm just saying it's true. I was going to actually mention that as well. Buddha is one of the incarnations of Krishna explained in the Vedas. He came to teach people non-violence. So yeah, it would absolutely, in my opinion, that's what that's how it is. So Hinduism definitely precedes Buddhism in a long way, but very much an aspect of it as well, if you look at it in the bigger picture. So it's very, very, very interesting. Yeah. Super interesting. Yay. Well, I'm very happy you had a fantastic time there. We could certainly uncover some of that and maybe even get a guest on with us, right? Who could talk about these things, because I think it's such an important part of our time as well to unpack all of these religions, faiths, the different ways that people believe things. And really, at the end of the day, I think when we see it all leads to the same place. There's actually a Hindu saying that goes, there are many roads that lead to the top of the mountain. The only one who's wrong is he who is running around telling the others that they are taking the wrong road. So, I think we need to accept that there are many ways to Christ. And I certainly have found that. I refuse to be labeled. That's the thing. I just do not. I mean, I respect so many cultures. I've lived in Thailand. I've spent a lot of time, obviously in India as well, with Indian people, different culture people, and I can see the beauty in everything. And I will, adopt the beauty or something that I really feel is special from each one of those dominions, whatever you call it. I mean, I don't want to say religion.
Well,
I guess it is a religion.
Yeah, I think that their belief
system is more.
Yeah, under the illusion, under the religion, under the dominance and the guidance of the holy books that dictate how one must behave. I don't see much leeway when you're in it, when you're devoted, when you are a real kind of stoic, let's say Christian. There are only certain things that you are permitted to do. There aren't boundaries. You don't step out the guidelines according to, the text. Unfortunately, I was very much influenced against my will as a child, and because I'm so clairvoyant, I would see, all these old people, old to me, I mean, they could have been in their 20s, but to a little girl, everyone's old because you're an adult, so you've got no concept. But, naughty things, I can see their attachments, their demonic attachments, their entities, their, oh my goodness. I'm like, wow, these people are really scared about going to hell. That's why they're sitting here, and then there's Betty and Janet over there, who are like, messing around with the vicar and his brother, and then just sitting there all like coy and like, oh, look at us, we're in church. I remember it's in my first book, Angels, Demons and Aliens. I saw Jesus in my room and I could not believe he was in my room. And he came surrounded by the most beautiful angelic chorus. Oh my God. And at 7 years old, to me, it was the most amazing thing that ever happened, of course. And still to this day, one of the most amazing things that ever happened at 7. And I couldn't wait to tell these women at church, because they were the most adored women. They wore the fox fur stoles and the jewelry, and everybody adored them. And they were the door greeters. When you got to church, you had to shake their hand and say, "Good morning, Your Majesty." Anyway, it was my turn to go in the door. And I'm like, "I saw Jesus, I saw Jesus, I saw Jesus." And they're like, "Oh." And I'm like, oh my God, I was crushed, because they weren't responding how I assumed they'd respond. Surely they'd be joyful. They took me in a back room, and one of them, the main one, she took her thumbs and she stuck them under my armpits and lifted me off the floor and screamed in my face, "You evil child, that's the devil," and dropped me on the floor. Yeah. And the other old bewitch pinched me so hard, and they couldn't accept that I, a little girl, born clairvoyant, nothing but love in my heart, saw Jesus and the angels, and so when I was 7, I knew that adults are basically full of shit and they can't see what I can see. And to this day, a lot of adults can't see what I can see. And that's all right. Just how we come in sometimes, isn't it? So, but yeah, so I definitely got away from religion a long time ago.
I couldn't, and for me, adults were the biggest liars. I couldn't believe how adults could lie. It was like, I used to, because the one thing I could see, I could see energy, and I didn't know as a kid what I was seeing. But it's like if someone was like talking, let's say to my mom or my dad, and I'd go, "Why are they telling a lie?" And then like in front of them, my mom would say, "Chantal, you can't say. What do you mean?" But I'm not necessarily saying they were telling a lie in that moment, but there was something in them that was highly deceptive. And I was reading the aura because I realized as I grew up, I recognized my parents in crowds by reading their aura. I could see my father's aura. He had a very gold aura. I always saw his head, and it was like his head looked see through. And my mother had silver with green. And I thought everyone could see that in their parents. And like I said to my friend the one day, does your dad's head also look see-through? Because no one else's parents, it was just weird to me. And I'm like 5 or 6, right? And she said, no. And then I realized then, and as I grew up, obviously looking back, I realized that that was the aura. I was able to see people's auras. So I could tell when people were lying. And I was never allowed to say that. But I was told, I was taught you don't backchat adults, right? Adults kind of are gods, demigods, whatever, adults are superior to us kids. But they never stopped lying. They never stopped lying. They never stopped lying. That's all I saw in them was liars. Seriously. All adults did, in my opinion, was lie. You didn't trust them and you didn't believe them.
Yeah.
So you had to go figure out for yourself what the truth was.
Yeah. Very much like today, unfortunately, as well, isn't it? The adults that tell porcupines and tell things to people. And, and sometimes in a growth spurt, you can surround yourself with people and absolutely believe every single thing they say. I did for years. I believed every single word. Then I started to see oh no. Oh, dearie. Oh, no. Oh, no. And then you step away and then the lies expand and they grow. And then I'm like, are you trying to get me to unalive myself, ladies? Because it's not going to happen. It's just absolutely vile violence, cruelty, lies. And it's amazing how people believe it. They are believing information. You know what else is terrifying with that? AI. I could be you, you could be me. I can have your voice, your face on a video, and nobody will know. This is where we're at right now with this warfare that we're in. But it's just so sad when it happens in your kind of inner circles. It's even worse. It's like, ladies, can we just quit the fighting? Stop falling on the sword for someone, who's been naughty. Just settle down because there's a war going on and they all want us to kill each other. Can we just focus on why we're here? So much healthier, isn't it?
Right. That's the whole thing. And in fact, I did that, the show earlier on, the Drop-In with Shanti. I was actually did a thing on that girl who said she slept with 1,057 men in a day, British girl, Bonnie Blue. And I was just actually going into the psyop around that and the type of loosh that they harvest and why they actually do that. So I think the more we realize the psyops involved in all these high voltage situations, then we're going to realize why they do it. And as long as we are reacting, either no matter how justified we might feel, and we're fighting this cause, that's loosh, it's loosh. We just need to really have an accepting heart. It's like there's a beautiful saying by Rumi that says, the minute you accept the troubles you've been given, the door opens. And it's like the minute we accept, okay, we're in this community, we're dealing with lots of dark creatures of the night, but we also know that we wouldn't be here unless we had chosen with God, our creator, to be here. This is part of our purpose. And I would never be sitting here unless I was 2,000% qualified. So that's the energy with which we go into this thing. The knowing that we're qualified. And love will always override fear. Always. It dissolves fear, no matter what. That's one thing I do know. And it's not love and light, love and light, love and light. I'm not talking about that love and light. I'm talking about strong love, assertive love, unconditional love, compassionate love, love that is seeing the evil and understands that evil actually needs to exist right now. But do you choose to be part of it? No. But can I see why it's here? Yes, I can. I can. I understand why it's here. But do I want to be part of it? Oh, hell no. Do I want to show others the way out? It's not even up to me to show others because I'm not your master or your whatever handler. But through life experience, we can share knowledge. We can share information on how to get out of this godforsaken hell matrix, hellish matrix that is literally the lower tree, the one we've been talking about. That, and yes, Lisa, unconditional love, I want to say that is not weak. Love says horseshit with you. Love says horseshit. No, love will say that. Love will say, take a hike, buddy. You've got to be joking. Love knows that love is God. God is love. And if we are created from God, we are created of love. And we really just have to go back to that place. And it's not an easy walk because we've done some miserable things ourselves. We've been subjected, we've gotten ourselves trapped in all sorts of nonsense and cycling loops and loops and loops and loops and loops, right?
Yeah. And all said unkind, mean things and totally believed. And, and you got to take responsibility for that and, reach out and, just give everybody a chance and, don't listen to the old gossip that you were kind of programmed with. Oh, they're a grey, they're a reptilian, they're evil, they're a demon, they're an alcoholic. Let it all go. Focus back here. Focus on the self-love.
Who gives a shit?
Exactly. We can all improve. We're all here. We're all trying to deal with something no one knows about. Everyone's healing from something. There's no such thing as perfect. It's like people need to be kind of more honest, more raw, more loving. And if you screw up, apologize, take responsibility. But it's so funny when somebody is locked in, let's say to a leader, that they follow, for example, and then no matter what you do, they hate you. Every word you say, the energy, the frequency, can't stand to look at you. They're so locked in, but they don't realize that what they're locked into is their own pain, their own unhealed rage and pain that they haven't dealt with. It's much easier to project and hurt and harm and try and dump all your stuff over there than look here. And this is the time of doing the shadow work, loving yourself back into wellness. And I've been doing a lot of shadow work on myself, a lot of owning, a lot of facing that witch in the mirror. You know what I mean? And you can see on my YouTube channel how many more people I'm like, interviewing and people I've missed out on over the years and have missed. And it's now like, do you know what? We've all grown. We've had to grow the last 5 years. We've had to be now at a level of evolvement that we hope is going to just keep us robust in this spiritual war. We're in a spiritual war. So let's not turn on each other, shall we? That's right. Let's not turn on each other, shall we?
Exactly. I always say, and it's difficult because especially when politics is such an incremental part of our identity and our existence. So, especially when me as a foreigner and especially America as well, and I know the UK, and it's so important for us to recognize that it's not about the countries. You see, again, that's division and conquer. Yes, you can be a proud patriot of your country. You can be I've always been very patriotic of my country as well. I don't give a shit what anyone says about my country. I know what we have here. I know the people that exist here. I know what we do here. Doesn't matter that anyone else doesn't. Maybe one day you guys will come and see. But in the meantime, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's what I say. For me, it's about humans, humanity.
Mm.
And there are so many humans of different nationalities and races. And like the whole racism agenda right now is huge, right? So there's this black on white and white on black, and who was here first and who did that first, and it's horrific on some of these platforms. Horrific.
Oh yeah.
So when we see how much fighting about belonging, right? And all I go is, well, at the end of the day, when we realize we all belong to God, this is my skin color and this is my body and this is the way I look in this life for a purpose and a reason, as are yours. Whatever skin color you're in, that's just the experience you need on earth. Your soul, the soul color, is really what matters. So let's learn to look with a third eye, not these eyes, because these eyes are blind in many instances. The third eye, when it's open, right? And again, this is one of those things that they have weaponized against us. When you look at how they've tortured children in these projects, they have weaponized their own spiritual gifts against them. So observing, seeing with your third eye should never be something that is forced. It opens up naturally as you develop your spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical abilities. It's like you grow, like a child grows from eating healthful, nourishing food. So your spirit grows when you nourish it. And that's what happens. So there's no, oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I just think, Dani, where we at right now, that's what we need to be doing. Human beings recognize human beings. Let's not get caught up in the politics of our country. Let's not get caught up in the euros of our country or politicians or whatever it is. Yes, but they've conned us all. They've conned us all.
Totally.
We've been conned. I mean, if I just think how in South Africa we've been conned, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
And I was talking, I'm going to introduce him to you, Guy Anderson. Oh my God, I have been looking for a scholar, for a researcher, for a proven person that can bring all the receipts on Tartaria. And it is not a myth. I mean, how are you going to explain away the megalithic buildings? That's not a myth. The giant doors, giant size for giants. The intricate, the lacing of marble, the talent, the extraordinary beauty. It's like, look, you haven't got the information. Stop pretending that you have. Sit down. Guy Anderson's the guy. He's speaking at my next conference as well, along with Billy Carson, David Icke, Kathy O'Brien. Oh my God, what a lineup. But anyway, Guy Anderson, we did a broadcast earlier, and we're going through all the different layers of the world and where we're at. And like you say, if we're focused on fighting each other or we're arguing over skin color, which is an absolute bloody psyop, because most of us, we're not even noticing. It's made to happen. It's made to fit. It's so boring, and really at our hearts, we're loving beings. But then we corral into a group because we feel safe, and it's, we can attack from out there. And actually, at the end of the day, it's all asshole behavior. And we got to remember, we're here. We're right here. We've got to be right here with us, getting right here, right into the healing, right into the undergrowth, right into the weeds, with why do we respond? Why do we react? Like, why over some years of use my mouth and I've said horrible things and I feel really ashamed of that. But in the moment, I was like passionate and I thought I was right and I trusted people. And now I'm like, wow, Dani, you got to sort yourself out, girl. You got to get a bit more time to grow, get a bit more focused on this soul of yours, this heart of yours. What are you doing here? Why do I have an online platform? Why do I have the best conference in the world with the best speakers? Because I love humanity. I love us. But nobody should come out as a speaker, a lecturer, a leader, in my opinion, without showing the odd bumps here, without owning their shite. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just false advertising. Like, be who you truly be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, do the work.
Absolutely.
Do the work, motherfuckers.
Absolutely.
Come on, it's time. Stop fighting each other.
It's so important that we do the work. And, you know, all of these experiences are there to show us and teach us that, you know, what the work is we need to do. Each person's individual. You're going to know that through your own individual experience. And if you keep ignoring it, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and more hectic as you go along. But listen, I want to know, yes, you've got the JISC conference. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about, I know you've just had your conference as well, and you're planning the next one.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to tell us a little bit about that and what that's all about.
Thank you. Yes, it's about bringing the truthers on the world who've got physical evidence, whether it's CIA documents, whether it's books they've written, research. It's all about like blowing the arse off of education, science, music, all of the psychological operations. David Icke, for example, and this is his new book that he sent me because I'm interviewing him on my channel soon and he's speaking at my conference. It's such a body of work. It's 35 years of work telling you why we're in a matrix, why we're in a system, who's running the system, how it's constructed. And I'm having him speak on 2 days because the first speech he'll do will be on what and how we got into this. Who are the bloodline families? How is the matrix created? What is the frequency that keeps us imprisoned with each other, running programs that say of religion that will put me and you in a certain frequency, so we'll be able to, you know, decode the reality that we're in by matching each other on that frequency. I mean, it's just so fascinating. And then the second part of the book is how we get out of it, how we survive it, how we acknowledge that it's there, but how do we safely, you know, kind of assert it for us, the individual, because the whole old guard that's created this system is coming down, it's collapsing. The cabal, the Illuminati, the pedophile system, it's coming down. And that's why, again, we've got to stop fighting each other and see who the true enemy is, you know. So he's speaking, and then Praveen will be there from the temples, giving us, he finds things all of the time in these hidden places, in these amazing temples, and he'll bring the latest information on, like the temple technology. Then we've got Kathy O'Brien, as you know, because you have her on your channel too. And it's funny because I got to meet David through Kathy O'Brien. And I'll just say that Kathy O'Brien surviving the White House and the Pentagon from the pedophilic system, the incestuous system, the child trafficking system that does and did exist. Doesn't matter who's in power now, but this is when she was involved in the 80s and 90s, and she's written her book. So David Icke read her book and then included her in his work, and they're friends. And so that's how I was connected. But she's there because she's so important in telling the truth. And they just had that one of the old raping pedos. What's his name? Oh God, what's his name? There's so many of them that unfortunately harmed her. And I believe them, of her, of course, never them. Dick Cheney, he just died. And it's people say,
Dick Cheney.
Yeah, what, one of the most evil rapists on the entire planet. And, you know, sitting around carving up the world with Bush and Clinton. And that's what they do. That's what they've done. And so we're exposing it all. And then we've got Max Lowen. Have you had her on your channel yet? I need to introduce you to her as well. Your audience will love her.
I've actually met Max a long time ago. Yes, but we'll chat about it. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, so she's exposing the trafficking in the Vatican, underneath the Vatican, in the tunnels. These things are true. They are real. They happen. So these are the people I bring to my conference. We expose everything on all the different levels, from the ancient history to the current political situation, because it all collapses in together. Nothing is separate. And that's another illusion on our planet. It's like, ooh, it's all separate. No, it's run by a bunch of fetid Muppets at the top, hiding. We'll never know who they are. Bill Gates is not the #1 freakoid, demonic, you know, peppered with so many demons in his body, clearly at the top of a very high demonic principle. Don't be impressed, because all insidiously evil. Let me tell you this, what me and Guy were talking about earlier, Guy Anderson. Whoa, I can feel some energy coming in there. Have it back. Have that back. With tasers. I got tasers in my field. Anyway. Oh my God, I forgot what I was going to say now. What was I saying? What was I saying, Shanti? Oh, you mute, darling.
Sorry, Guy, you were talking about Guy.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, damn it, that just slipped out my brain. I was on an exciting journey then. Well, anyway, Guy speaking, again, Tataria, proving it. The truth will set us free. Somebody said something there. No, I can't remember. But anyway, you're asking me about my conference. Kathy O'Brien speaking, proving everything, bringing receipts. The war is on the ground. It's on the ground. It's underground. It's in the skies. It's everywhere. So I've got the line up here. David Icke, Kathy O'Brien, Tony Rodriguez. You got to get him on your channel. He's a kidnapped using a satanic occult, then sold into the American military. He's been to the moon. He can tell you about the child torture programs that he was in, and he's been to Mars. And people go, "Oh, titter, he's been to Mars. If that were true, I would have heard about it." No, darling, you wouldn't, because NASA don't tell anybody anything. Sorry, not NASA. I mean Nazi, and that's what they should call NASA, Nazi, because it was by the Nazis from Project Paperclip, and it's all true. We got JP, Max Lowen, Billy Carson, Praveen, Guy Anderson, Nikki Allen, the Great Angel Connector. Everyone has a beautiful, beautiful, the energy's coming back again. This is why I don't do lives, because you get the odd Muppet out there playing, trying to throw energy, trying to throw frequency, but you guys shouldn't do that. You shouldn't play where you're not qualified to play. It's like you were saying earlier, Shanti, how we basically are in these roles. And you could say that we positioned ourselves here. I don't think I don't think it was a little bit like, I'm going to be a YouTuber. As far as I'm concerned, unless you've got millions of followers on your channel, you're not really a YouTuber. That to me is more of like a celebrity thing that I don't give a toss about either, unless it's someone like Praveen Mohan. But you and I, we're like boots on the ground. We're like soldiers in the trenches, aren't we? That's kind of what we're doing.
Totally. Creating the platform for voices to be heard and for the truth to come out, really, because the truth sets us free.
It really does.
That's what it is, and of course there are a lot of, and again, this is part of where we're at right now. What you were saying early on, we're in a spiritual war, absolutely. And the only way we're going to discern is when we ourselves are in truth. Otherwise, everyone else can draw us, can like put a nose ring in the nose and haul us around by the nose and make us believe anything. Unless you yourself have learned, done the shadow work yourself and understood true discernment, and you yourself can discern, you're always going to be believing what somebody else says. You're always going to be needing to have someone else give you information which you can or can't or may not believe. And you've got to take a chance, because people can lie very well. People deceive very well. We're in the age of deception, absolutely. But deception is an opportunity to see the truth. And no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save us. You are here to use your God-given gifts, which is up to you to access. And that is what's going to save you and everyone around you and me. We're all doing that for ourselves. And that's how we strengthen our core muscles. It's like training to run the Olympics. Let's say N times equals Olympics, okay? If we're drawing a parallel. Now, to train for the Olympics, you would have had to go through many years of grueling training to strengthen yourself, to get fit enough, to move yourself into the space of being a fantastic athlete, competing against others, whatever, so that you can run in the Olympics. That's what we do here. This is us now doing final body checks, mind checks, spirit checks, emotional checks to see if you are fired up and ready. No one is going to do it for you. You are here to resurrect yourself with the information that you've received from Christ, from Jesus, from God, the Holy Spirit. And how have you integrated that? How does that resonate with you in your life? What do you need to do to help the movement forward? And it doesn't mean calling everyone a witch and beating others down because you don't, whatever. The liars are going to reveal themselves. The liars are always going to reveal themselves.
And the level
That's
of
the fact.
Yeah, the level of consciousness in a person as well. Like I said to you last night, there's a gang of girls and they're posting apparently texts I wrote. Apparently, I mean, you can make anything up these days. And the level of darkness to do that, you know, it's like doxing. It's just so evil, and you're representing an organization, and this is the level that you're playing at. I was going to mention, I remember what I was going to say about Kathy O'Brien and Max Sloan and Rachel Vaughan, all ladies you know and have had on your channel. I've had them speak at my conference, my last conference in Charlotte, just in this September, just gone. You know, they are survivors of atrocities that we can't even fathom to understand. The suffering that they have gone through, the torture, the buried alive, crucified on a cross, and just the most terrible things. And there are other women and men that have been through the same and similar, and yet unfortunately there's a group that attacks them. Why would you attack people in the same rhythm and expression of survival as you? Why would you do that? Because you've got to remember, the dark ones overriding, they do that. They come into the inner circles and they create so much pain so that everyone turns on each other, and the strong ones will step out. The strong ones will step away. And then the people that are left behind, they might look to go, no, she'll take the bait. She'll take the bait. I think the one that walks away is the brave one, because that's the one who's intent on doing the healing, you know. And it's like, you know, people have said, oh, David Icke's this, and I saw him. And no, you didn't. No, you didn't. And then somebody will tell a story, let's say about David Icke or Billy Carson, ooh, you know, and then because one person said a story, that just takes on an energy and a wind, and then it becomes a story. It's not true, but it becomes a story. So people go, what do you mean these people, ? You're having them speak? You know, so I'll just repeat their names. The speakers at my next conference: David Icke, Kathy O'Brien, Tony Rodrigues, Max Lowen, JP, Dani Henderson, that's me, Billy Carson, Praveen Mohan, Guy Anderson, who you'll meet on this channel soon, Nikki Allen, and Alex Collier, the great Andromedan, with over 30 years information on the galactic situation, Andromeda being the closest galaxy to us. I mean, it all matters. All of it matters. So I'm just so excited. But again, we've got to stop listening to gossip. If you heard one story about someone, it doesn't mean it's 100% true. Let it go. We had a guy recently who was accused of being New Age. Oh my God, he went mad. He's so not New Age. He went, so somebody, a coward, called him New Age. That got him fired from a conference, and this awful whole kind of thing. And he's not New Age. He's one of the most wonderful, outspoken, passionate people on the planet. You know, people got to be careful. Don't run away with the mouth. Don't be posting private information online. You know, just knock it off, you know?
It's so low vibe to actually take text messages. They did that to Jesse as well. You know, they will take text messages, whatever, sent privately in confidence. And these are Christian prayer warriors, Christian prayer women, right? The ones that I've been know about. And they will take those messages and they post them publicly. And I'm horrified by people who do that.
Me too.
In the work I do for 30 years, I've been a healer, and privacy is it's normal, unless that person has confessed to murdering your child or someone next door, whatever. Fine, that's evidence. Okay, this person needs to be put away somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we get that. I'm talking about normal conversations that people have, and then suddenly is no longer the flavor of the day, and then you start posting text messages, private messages that have been sent for the world to see. It's got nothing to do with the person that you're trying to belittle, but it says everything about you that's posting that, because that tells me you have no integrity, you have no desire to heal or to see a situation being resolved. You are there purely to try and lower the vibe and to make everyone fight and hate and be there for division and conquering. Anyone who does anything like that is absolutely doing the devil's work, whether you like to see it like that or not. Be respectful. I mean, if someone has done something to you, and you feel that you need to call them or call the situation out, then fine, do so, but do so in a classy way. Be graceful about it, whatever it is, Speak to the relevant people. Go legal if you have to. Always have a conversation with the person. Communication is key, for goodness sake. If you're not happy in a situation, or if someone's misunderstood you, if you've misunderstood them, then fine. But always, be willing to acknowledge when you're wrong. Be willing to acknowledge you've cocked up. You can't think that you doing that kind of stuff to people is elevating you in any way. It's holding you. Bullies and perpetrators of violence or nastiness are holding themselves back. It's telling me that person is desperate. It's telling me they are stuck. It's telling me they are caught up in the cycle of running on the hamster wheel of hell. And they're pissed off because they see that someone else isn't. They're off. We're out of there. We're doing other things. We're creating. We're making happiness in our lives. We're creating joy. They don't like that. And they're going to try and break you down. And it's that simple. And we have to become aware of how, and honestly, that's what solutions right now from here onwards is bent towards showing you guys how to recognize these things, how to see it, how to deal with it, how to strengthen yourself, how to find your resonance, how to be discerning. Not that you got to go and ask everyone else anymore. Trust your spirit. Trust what's in your heart. Learn to trust. Problem is we've never, oh my goodness. Get out of here. Mods, please.
Bye, Elizabeth. Bye. Charlie. See, and that's what happens when someone's put a narrative out and skewed it, and lied, and of course done all these horrible things. And then, and then they, of course, and that's the thing. It's so terrifying how you can tell someone till you're blue in the face, but they're going to believe what they're going to believe. That's why everyone needs to take responsibility for being a classless witch, myself included, over certain times, and then just do the work. Take ownership, apologize, reach out to people. It's very simple. It's very simple because the main goal is to see everyone fighting each other, and the cabal and the Illuminati.
Exactly.
They're laughing at us all of us, making it happen, making us fight. Some people are taking the bait.
Well, there's someone that's just proven that they are trying to be a low vibrator. A low vibrator. They're a low vibrator. Couldn't resist that. I'm sorry. Anyway.
All right, you gotta laugh because it's so.
Am I the only one that finds my joke about the low vibrator being funny?
Oh my God.
She is a low vibrator. But yeah, exactly. Anyway, so um, that's my point. But we got to laugh at these things because really, at the end of the day, you know, ah, guys, don't get involved in gossip and nonsense. And when
And
people
other
start this
people.
and putting out shit,
Yeah.
so and so is a fraud, get over yourself. If you think so and so is a fraud, get over yourself. Just get over yourself. That's your perspective. And if you're in a position of power at all, if you're in a position of authority in any way, where your narrative has any way of leading people in that direction, with great power comes great responsibility. You can't be speaking crap like that about other people and not having adequate proof. If you're going to say that, then have the receipts, have proof. If you are
Yeah.
exposing someone who is a fraudster, then have adequate proof. Yes, they do need to be exposed, I agree, but have adequate proof and don't turn it into a witch hunt, because
Mm-hmm.
that's just cheap. That's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah, and it robs people of their own healing, and it robs people of potentially the puzzle pieces on their own journey. If you say that, like I was saying earlier about these satanic women, that bless them, God love them, they're surviving. They've had to do, and they're all turning on each other, and they've been horrific to you and I, good friends of ours. They've been horrific, and then they've said this person's a baby eating blah blah blah, and someone told me that, and someone who's been through something terrible. And so I believed her because I thought, well, why would she lie to me? Why would she lie to me? So I was like, I just kind of stepped away from someone until our friend said, Dani, the only reason that this person told you that is because this person and a couple of others did a remote view on this person. It's like, you cannot remote view a known target. That's not remote viewing. Okay, that's reading. There's a huge difference. Proper protocol for remote viewing is being given a number that means nothing. Okay, and you focus on the number because you don't know the target. It's a blind target, a double protocol. And then you use your intuitive gifts and you go looking and see what you get. And there's different mapping systems you can use to kind of formulate what you are remote viewing. But so these women did not remote view. They got together and they did a psychic reading. And within that, they brought information back that was completely unprovable. And, I lost 6 to 8 months of good research and bringing someone forward who I believe sincerely is a very good person, because I listened to gossip. So we got to stop doing that. Again, like I said, you hear one story about one person doing one thing. What was it? Someone said once about, I think it was, I can't remember, I'm not going to name him, but somebody in the public eye that a lot of people love being at some kind of satanic ritual thing, right? One person said it. Oh my God, have I heard that repeated back to me 15 times? From one person. Where's the proof? Stop trashing people's souls. All of us, stop doing it. Let's just grow. We got to all grow. All of us. That means me, that means Shanti, that means you, and you, all of us. Let's just grow.
Exactly.
Forgive, apologize.
Exactly.
Jesus, what's it take? How many more go-arounds do we need? Oh, the fighting, avoiding the healing, like I said earlier. It's crazy, crazy. Anyway, I just bought this book again, The Only Planet of Choice. If anyone's looking for a good read, I read this in the 90s.
I read that. I have that book. It's about 30 years old, at least
Exactly.
30 years old.
Exactly. In the 90s. This was a great awakening. Before we heard terrible things about Spielberg, in the days where we thought he was an amazing person, he just made E.T. I sent this to him. I'm like, my God, you need to turn this into a movie. It's so good. So this woman, Phyllis, in the day, it's like the physical mediums that could create physical ectoplasm. We don't do that anymore. We don't need to. And then like at certain times there was like physical channeling. We don't recommend channeling in 2025, but this lady channeled a group kind of known as Tom, the
Council of
collective
Nine.
consciousness, the Council of Nine, or the Nine. And they're so ancient, and there's so much information there on Atlantis. Like, a lot of the stuff I learned and came to understand about the tortures, the hybridization, the terrible, shocking things that did happen across Atlantis, which is one of the reasons why it went down.
Yeah.
And I remember years ago reading that book and then going to LA and going, oh my God, this is the modern day Atlantis. This is the modern day Atlantis because of all the horrific things that they do to this very, very day. That's a really interesting read for those that are on the seeker's journey. We got to go back, because there's a lot of people in the last 5 years who just popped up who are giving narratives. And I think we've got to go back to the older books as well, where they've not been redacted. There's no kind of influence, negative, positive. And, we've got a bit more building into each individual's kind of journey and gathering of information, because a lot of what we do as an individual is reading what other people have written or listening to what they say, and I think we need a real kind of good, more rounded expression to kind of, express and learn as we go. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that book, The Earth, the Only Planet of Choice, absolutely. I found it fascinating. And those pages are falling out, boy. I think every page is loose. It's come off the spine and it's highlighted. It's a fantastic book. Really, I'm surprised to see it's still around. I thought I was the only one on the planet that read that book. But it's amazing. Yeah, really is. But yeah, well, I'm glad that you've got it. I'm glad it's in print. I'm glad it's in print again. I'm going to try and get it again. Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping they haven't taken pages out, because unfortunately that does happen. It's like years ago, I got the beautiful autobiography that Nikola Tesla wrote. It's basically a gathering of papers and articles he wrote for a magazine. I think it was called The Engineer, for the men of the day, because there were no women during his time. He were doing apprenticeships and upcoming engineers. So he was so keen to share his information and his teachings and his knowings that he wrote a load of papers, and somebody put them all in the form of a book. And it's so beautiful. And at my last event in May, Galactic Spiritual Informers Conference in May in Eastbourne, England, I did a presentation on Tesla, and I included this. Now, the book, I lived in Costa Rica. Everything bloody rots in the jungle. Everything goes moldy. You pick up a pair of amazing trousers and, oh my God, they're full of holes. And there's a tarantula in there the size of your hand. And anyway, the book got so moldy, I had to bin it, because it was actually not good. You know what I mean? I tried to clean it. I'm like, nah, it's actually a bit too mingy, so I need to get rid. I got another one. Oh my God, there were so many pages missing. I'm like, no, so we've got to be so careful. They redact, they change, so we're not all getting the same information. But I do hope that it is the same. Let's check your, this is 300 and, I can't bloody see. 339, about 339 pages. See, and it's not, it's pretty much the same size, but again, you don't know what they've kept in or taken out or rewritten, or so difficult. I guess you could do an AI research, but that's dodgy. AI, I used it for the first time the other day, right? Just a little play, because to find out for myself, Grok is awful. It has such an attitude. They've programmed that with a bit of Elon's attitude in it. I'm telling you, it's rude. I told it something. I told it to go look for something that I knew existed, right? And it couldn't find it. So then I posted the link, and it didn't apologize. It said, I missed that in my research. Like, yeah. So people better not be relying on
that. Yeah, exactly. Unless you know for sure. Yeah. Wow. Goodness me, Dani, it's been wonderful chatting to you again. And for our viewers, we're going to make this a monthly connection with Dani and I. I think sometimes I'll be on her channel, sometimes she'll be back here again. So we'll be talking about everything cool and what's happening out there and in there. And we'll probably have a few guests on with us every so often as well. Which is, I definitely want to do that follow-up of the roundtable we did the other day with the 6 of us, I think there were. Definitely do a nice follow-up with that. Those amazing women. So definitely be following up early in the new year. So I want to say thank you to all you beautiful men and women out there who've been supporting our show and joined us for our chat. And yeah, grab your chai and your wine or whatever it is on a Friday afternoon you have, and stick your feet up. And I'm going to see you back in a half an hour for members and Patreons with Jessie. We're decoding. Yeah, we're decoding the Harry Potter stuff, talking about how the hierarchy kids, the hierarchy training in alignment with that, because they do it all part and parcel. It's all part of the same thing. So I want to say, Patreons, you guys have got the links. Members, check the community tab on YouTube, please, for YouTube members. If you want to join, it's on Zoom. The link is on there for you. So we'll be meeting in just over a half an hour. Dani, it's been such a great pleasure, and I'm so happy you're back safe and sound from beautiful Thailand. Is there anything you want to maybe just say in rounding up? Where can people get hold of you? Anything specific?
Thank you. Well, you can always come to my channel there, Dani Henderson Jisic. The Jisic is Galactic Spiritual Informers.com. There's the email, the website rather, for our conference is upcoming September 2026. We're about to launch tickets. I'm going to try and keep them as cheap as possible. It's a massive venue, so I can play around with all different ticket prices more than normal. So just want to make it affordable for everyone to kind of come and see, like I said, that David Icke, Kathy O'Brien, Tony Wood-Riggs, Max Lowen, JP, Dani Henderson, Billy Carson, Praveen Mohan, Guy Anderson, Nikki Allen, and Alex Collier. It's going to be amazing. September 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2026, Eastbourne, East Sussex. So there'll be a lot more to come on that, a lot more information. I'll be bringing everybody on my channel for their interviews, and people can get to know them. But again, between now and then, they'll be all on my channel too for free, of course, because I do everything for free, on YouTube. Also want to remind people, like, stop fighting, like, grow, own your mistakes, move on, be an individual, don't be gang attacking. It's just it's so low vibe. We're supposed to be in this together. We're in a spiritual war. So let's take care of each other rather than trash each other and dox each other. All right, dancing girl? All right, darling. And you called you Roxy then. Darling Chantal, love you so much. See you soon, my love. And thank you to the audience. God bless.
Thank you so much, Dani. Such a wonderful, wonderful pleasure having you on. And again, thank you to our audience and everybody joining us in the chats. Always fun to have you guys engaging. And yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe. It gets our algorithms up. And we know that we are shadow banned, although they definitely cannot take us out at all. We don't give consent to that at all, but it's always nice to know that as many people as possible are seeing these shows. Thank you so much, beautiful people. And Lisa D, thank you. Yeah, I think Dani is cool. We've got to do a show with Beverly as well one of these days. Can you imagine? That's going to be fun. Yeah. I think Beverly's definitely on the next show with us.
Definitely.
Or one of them anyway.
She texted me during our chat. We got some wonderful news. We're releasing it in January. I can't wait. I'm so happy for her, but I can't say anything. But yeah, she's Beverly Rose is very special.
Indeed. Okay, everybody, take care and God bless you all. And I'll see you in half an hour on Zoom for those members and Patreons. Take care. God bless everybody and have a beautiful weekend. Mwah.